Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to another episode of Unstoppable Mindset, and I am Michael Hingson, your host. Glad that you're with us wherever you happen to be. Hope that you enjoy our podcast today. We get to chat with Shamim Ehsani, and Shamim is a person who has built a five-star hotel in Nairobi, Kenya, and there's a lot of history there and so on. So we'll get to talk about that. I'm really curious to know what distinguishes it, why it's a five-star hotel, how it differs from other things. And I know those are all criteria that went into building the hotel that he and his brother did. So we'll get to all that. But anyway, for right now, Shamim, I want to welcome you to Unstoppable Mindset. We're really glad you're here.
Thank you for having me on your show, Michael. It's a pleasure.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to having a little bit of fun. So why don't you tell us about the early Shamim growing up and so on? It's always good to start at the beginning, you know?
Of course. No real scandals when I was growing up.
Oh, that's good.
I think I was a pretty good kid. I did get suspended from school once, but not for anything terribly naughty.
Well, that was probably good.
Yeah.
So what did you like to do as
Um,
a kid growing up and so on?
so I mean, most of it was just exploring Nairobi and hanging out with friends over here. Um, I remember in high school we'd sometimes get out early and go to the national park, which at that time was possible because the traffic wasn't so bad at that time. So we'd drive over and spend a couple of hours in the national park, just like looking for animals.
Ah,
So that was a fun early childhood.
how far were you from the park?
At the time, it took about 30 minutes, maybe sometimes 40 minutes to drive over. It's not that different now, actually, because of some new roads that have been built.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah, but I'll bet there's a lot more traffic that you have to contend with, and at least more roads help.
that's true. Yeah.
So what kind of animals did you look for and find over there?
Well, Nairobi National Park's pretty unique. It's the only national park within the city limits of a capital city in the
Right.
world. And it's kind of like a sanctuary for rhino.
Hmm.
So it has a huge population of rhino. I think at the moment it's somewhere around 76 or 74 rhino that it has in the national park.
Okay.
And there's a good population of lions. And at the time, once in a while, we'd get lucky and see cheetahs.
Ah, now, did you ever try to or get the opportunity to pet any of them?
Not inside the national park, but I have petted a cheetah and I have petted a baby lion before.
Ah, I have
Um,
not. Well, I was at a hotel once when somebody came in, they stayed overnight with a baby tiger, and it was all about one of the car companies that had a cat as one of the cars. But I missed it. I missed getting the chance to do it.
a shame. No, they're
Yeah.
pretty extraordinary animals, and even when they're cubs, you can feel how strong they are and how capable they are.
Yeah, you don't want to tick them off.
No, but the national park used to have an orphanage, which they let people go in and kind of hang out with the animals. So from time to time, you get some exciting ones.
And they get eventually used enough to people that they tolerate reasonably well, I assume.
That's right. Yeah.
But still, people, I'm sure, keep an eye on it.
Oh,
You,
definitely. I mean, there's still wild animals and very powerful ones too.
yeah, and you certainly want to not encourage them to think of you as a meal. So, yeah. What was it like petting a cheetah?
They have actually quite I don't know how you say it, like brittle. It's quite brittle, their fur.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's quite rough. And they
Uh-huh.
have like rough tongues like sandpaper as well.
Oh, well, cats do, so I'm not surprised too much. So you went over, you watched animals, and you enjoyed the park. That's a neat thing to be able to do, and certainly something different than what most cities offer. Although there are a number of cities with zoos, like here in the United States, we've got the San Diego Zoo down in San Diego, and there is a petting zoo, and there are of course a lot of different animals down there, which is it's kind of interesting. But um, I'm I'm unfortunately of the opinion that not nearly enough people spend enough time around these animals to really learn all they should. Um, and the animals are not nearly as dumb as people think they are.
No, and it's good to have a healthy respect for the animals for sure.
Yeah. So you did that, and then after high school, you went to college.
I went to college in Boston. I
There
was
you
at
are.
Babson. Yeah, really enjoyed that.
Now, why Boston?
Um, so my elder brother was there at the time. He was studying at Tufts University,
Ah,
and I'd gone over to visit him, and just really liked the city. Loved the whole concept of studying with 500,000 other students in the
yeah,
same town.
yeah.
Um, so that really appealed to me, and it felt like it just had a great vibe about it. Of course, I visited in the summer, so
That's
I
just a
wasn't exposed to the winter until until I got
surprise.
there. Yeah.
So, what was the weather like in the winter in Kenya and Nairobi?
I mean, it's currently the winter at the
Yeah,
moment, and
yeah.
it's still about 70 degrees during the day. We're lucky over here.
What is it like in the summer there?
It's not much different because we're on the equator and our altitude's
Ah,
actually quite high.
okay.
Um, so yeah, it maybe gets up to the 80s, but but quite reasonable. It's never too hot, never too cold.
Oh, that's a wonderful thing. Where I live up here on the high desert in Southern California, we can easily get into the hundreds. It's been fairly cool by comparison the last couple of weeks. Usually we are in the hundreds, 105, 110, but the temperature has only been in the low to mid 90s. So even the weather people, well, the weather people complain about everything because they're always looking for a change, but even they're complaining about the fact that we haven't had the heat that we usually do.
Well,
But
things are changing, I think. You see it over here.
yeah,
You definitely feel it on the equator.
yeah, I'm sure. Well, I think we're seeing it all over, whether people and governments want to recognize it or not. It is with us, and it's going to be with us, and that's kind of the nature of the beast. So, what did you
So
major in college?
marketing and entrepreneurship. So
Ah,
Babson's very well known for its entrepreneurship program.
okay,
And so pretty much everyone that goes through the school um, goes through the entrepreneurship program.
okay. I assume, enjoyed that.
I loved it actually. Yeah, very enjoyable experience, made some great friends, learned quite a lot, I'm sure, which I'm not sure how much of it I remember now, but um, but definitely enjoyed my time at Babson.
Did you do graduate work or just undergraduate?
Just undergrad.
Okay. Did you get a
And then
graduate degree, or you went elsewhere?
no, I came back to join the family business. With Babson, it's 4 years of business, so it's a pretty uh, intensive and rigorous program that you go through.
Okay. So, what was the
Um,
family? Oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead, tell me.
No, go ahead. So you were saying it is pretty intense. You're doing business for 4 years. That is time to just focus on that.
Was Yeah, I mean, your first year of university, you start a business with a group of 20 kids, and your grade at the end of the year kind of depends on how successful that business was. So it's an interesting model for a program that kind of throws you in the deep end and it's sink or swim.
So you actually are with other students starting a business.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, what better way to learn about business than to really be put into the position where you have to do it? I was talking with somebody on a podcast episode yesterday, and he made a very interesting point, which is that there's a difference between information and knowledge. And he said information is what you get from books and so on, but he said knowledge is what you actually learn and you assimilate and you put to use. So information can lead to knowledge, but knowledge is what you really need to have, and that means you've got to have a sympathy for it. You have to really emotionally include it in your psyche, much more than just information. I think that's a very good point.
For sure, I like that. Never heard that before.
Yeah, and knowledge is certainly something you would get after or while you're being put in a business environment like at Babson. That was pretty good. So did you do one business all 4 years, or did you do businesses each year, or how did that work?
It's just a freshman year program that
Ah,
they make you do the business, and then after that they kind of teach you about business. Um,
okay.
but it's an interesting approach to learning for sure.
Yeah, because you, in a sense, I would think during the last 3 years, sort of dissect what you did during the first year, and you learn about what
That's
worked, what
right.
didn't work, and so on.
Yeah, and it kind of hones your intuition for business as well, which a lot of people who go to Babson kind of have that built-in intuition because they're coming from family business backgrounds or they've started businesses themselves. Um, but it does kind of bring that out in people.
Mm-hmm. Well, you find out what you can really do, and I'm sure that by being put in that position, you learn a lot about yourself anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. And leadership skills and um, yeah, how what things about the business you enjoy and what you don't. I learned very quickly that I don't enjoy numbers, and
Didn't want to
that's
be an
definitely
accountant,
not.
huh?
No,
Well,
definitely
that's
not.
fine. Yeah, yeah. You like to be more creative. What did you enjoy most about doing the business?
Definitely the more creative side. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed the uh, yeah, the marketing courses and actually also business law. I really enjoyed. I
Mm,
enjoyed that too.
that
Yeah,
can be
that was
pretty creative.
yeah.
So, what was the business that you and your colleagues formed?
So we started an on-campus business, and it was kind of a laundry program that we started collecting laundry and doing laundry for people on campus.
Ah, okay. Did you have the responsibility as a group to create your own business, or were you assigned a business? How did that work?
No, we had to develop the
You had to
concept
develop. You
and
had, okay.
yeah, come up with the structure and everything for it.
Oh, cool. Well, that really throws you into the deep end, but that really is what needs to happen for you to learn and figure it out.
Yeah, and I think it takes out some of the anxiety of, how to start a business when you just have to get on with it and jump in and do it.
Yeah.
And so that was a good lesson from that. Just, not overthinking things and not, uh, yeah, not sort of taking your time to learn any skills that maybe are things that you could pick up along the way.
Yeah. Well, clearly if you're successful at understanding all that and make the business work, then that helps for the next 3 years and obviously helps with whatever you do later on.
Yeah, I think that's the thinking behind it.
Yeah. So after you were done with your 4 years at Babson, you went back. What was the family business that you went back into?
So at the time, my father and our business partners had a shopping mall, which we still have, and so I went back to join the shopping mall business and sort of help set up the marketing team and the PR team for the business. And then shortly after that, I was only there for a couple of years in that role. And then the family asked me to go to Vancouver to take care of our family business in Vancouver.
Ah, so you moved all over.
Yeah, a couple of places. But Kenya's home. I really enjoy living in Nairobi. It's a great city.
Cool. Well, I think it's nice to have adventures. So how long were you in Vancouver and what did you do there?
So I was there for 2.5 years, and our family had bought property in Vancouver when they left Iran um, in the early 80s. And the property was a bit hard to manage. It was, it was quite far away from where we lived. So it was left up to people, friends or professional managers to kind of take care of the business for us. And so at the time when they wanted to sell the business, and they had asked me to go over and do that, the business, it wasn't really doing that well. It was, the collections were low on the rent roll, and um, it needed some restructuring. We had some interesting tenants in there that we kind of had to get rid of.
Mm.
So it was up to me as a 23-year-old going to Vancouver to figure out how to navigate that entire business and learn it from scratch.
Do you think that the experience at Babson of really having to be put in a position where you jumped into stuff though helped you in going over to Vancouver and now dealing with um, again a going concern, but basically you knew something about how to jump into business.
To some extent, a lot of the skills I needed I actually learned on the job, like creating a rent roll and how to get what buyers would be interested in seeing as improvements to the building that needed to be made, and how to do that, and how to negotiate with the city hall for various things. Those are things that kind of I was thrown into the deep end.
Did you
But
find
it
that? Did
was
you
a good
find that?
experience.
Did you find that some of the issues though that you encountered um, were challenges in part because the business was really owned and in a sense run from a long distance, and maybe people didn't connect as well with tenants as they could have, or do you think that played into it?
I think the business was neglected for a long time,
Mm.
and it wasn't the main business for the family, so it was kind of an investment property, and because of that, there were some early decisions that were made, like allowing some family friends to occupy space in the building for free, and they were in there for 20, 25 years without paying rent.
Oh,
And so when trying to sell the building, that's something that you can't really explain to a buyer.
yeah.
Um, so we had to change those things and have some conversations with family friends that are, much older than I am, about how we needed to sort of start collecting rent moving forward.
How did they take that?
They were all very gracious about it, and um, yeah, there wasn't really any resistance from them about that.
Well, they had free rent for a while, but appreciated it, I would think. And so when they understood what was going on, and it's great that they were pretty open to helping with the process.
Yeah, absolutely, and actually very helpful with the process as well. There were some architects in there that were always there to advise and assist and help me through the process.
Did the sale then eventually go and be very successful?
It was, yeah. The family had some expectations for how much they wanted back from the property, and by cleaning up the place and getting Starbucks into the property and getting some other good tenants in, I actually managed to achieve about 60% higher than what the family had expected.
Shamim
Or
the
what the
hero.
or what the valuation was when I went in. Yeah, I think I was lucky with the market too.
Yeah. Well, when did this all happen? What year was this? What years?
That was from 2005 to 2007,
Ah, okay. So it was before the big bubble burst and all that, too.
right before, yeah.
Well, so anyway, you were successful with it, and that's cool. But clearly, obviously, learned a lot of good lessons that helped. So once that was over, what did you then go back and do?
So we had already started thinking about and started developing Tribe. My elder brother was, and Tribe is our hotel or one of our properties. Um, and so my elder brother was already working on that project, and I was sort of doing the branding and identity work from Vancouver. And so as soon as I got back to Nairobi in July of 2007, I joined the family business again. We continued building the hotel, and
Mm.
it opened in September of 2008.
Now, why is it named Tribe?
So we wanted something that was that really stood for something, and you know would socially have a message attached to the name. And at the time, Kenya was going through a bit of a rough period. It had had a general election that was quite violent,
Mm.
unfortunately, and it was all sort of it was an election that was basically on tribal lines. So people aligned with their tribes and voted based on that. And the aggression and the tension in the country that kind of developed from that election meant that tribe was actually quite a dirty word in the country.
Mm.
And we thought that it might be an opportunity to reframe the word for the country and give it a new meaning, give it a meaning of unity and bringing people together and oneness. And you know, that was a message that the whole country was sort of eager to hear at the time.
Hmm. Even though it had been a bad concept, people probably deep down understood what tribe was and tribes were all about. And so they were probably glad to see a different kind of emphasis put on the word.
It certainly made it a memorable name. We had mixed reactions from people. I remember an older uh, lady who stopped me on the steps once at the village market, which is the shopping mall, and she said, "How dare you call it tribe
Mm.
after everything that the country's been through?"
Hmm.
And after a brief conversation, I explained what our intention was with the name. She really liked it, and she sort of came around. But we
That's
also
cool.
had yeah, we also had a group of consultants from McKinsey as our first
Mm.
guests
Okay.
pre-opening before we opened. And they really loved the whole concept, the design, the product that we were offering, the service. But they gave us a recommendation and said, if you call this hotel Tribe, it'll fail. There's no way that you should call this hotel Tribe, given the circumstances of the country. And so we called an emergency board meeting and um, sat there for several hours with our board of directors, sort of looking at this letter and discussing it. And we had already printed all the collateral. The signs were up on the walls. The everything was pretty much done. The website and everything. And we decided to just persist and go along with our original concept.
It has now been 17 years, and Tribe is certainly still there. So I wonder what did, after you opened and you continued to be successful, did you ever have any discussions or thoughts with or from Mackenzie?
No, not since, but no, it's a nice memory for me.
Yeah. Yeah. People tend to oftentimes be a little bit myopic and not really look at the vision. And clearly that's what you really were dealing with is you had a vision.
Uh, I think I think we had the right message that,
Mm-hmm.
and we understood what the country was going for, and we were empathetic, and we wanted to be a part of the healing of the country, and people responded well to that.
Which is cool. How did your upbringing and all the things that you did, how did that influence what you did and how you started the hotel and so on? I would assume a lot, but
But it definitely influenced it in several ways. So one is culturally, um, we're we're Persians. We're originally from Iran, and so it's quite a hospitable culture to begin with. Um, and then also as because our family is Baha'i, and so when we were thinking of a concept of how we can relate to what's happening, um, the oneness of mankind is a big part of the Baha'i faith, and we wanted to introduce that as a message for the country for it moving forward.
so how did you make all the symbolism work? So you started the hotel and so on, but what did you do to create the message and get people to buy into it?
A few different things. One was we focused on our tagline early on, especially, which was "One Planet, One Tribe," which really reinforced our message about why we were calling it Tribe. And the second part was that we focused on the arts because we figured that the arts is something that cuts across all tribes, cuts across cultures and socioeconomic issues. And so we wanted Tribe to really be a hero for the arts. And that goes for, fashion and visual arts and music and film. And so we really got entrenched in that world. We started a fashion show, which is still it's Kenya's longest running fashion show. Uh, we hold the event every year. We have concerts in our lobby and outside by the swimming pool. We've had several TV shows and movies filmed at the property, and we do screenings regularly as well. So it's really building a community around the arts, um, and using that as sort of a reference point for our message.
Is this the kind of a concept that can be franchised that you could start hotels in other places, or would you even think about that? I can think of challenges, but still, it's always worth asking.
We've thought about it and we've dreamed about it. And I'd like to think that I'm still young and there's still time to explore that opportunity. In the early days, we didn't really have the confidence because we were very new to the business.
Well, and you had a
But
lot to
now,
learn.
exactly. And now I think, yeah, 17 years in, we're growing the business. We've opened other properties that are under different brands. But I think there is a space for Tribe in other cities. And it can convey the same message of oneness and unity because that's a message that the world needs right now in many places.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And I know in this country there is so much division and a lack of oneness and a lack of respecting each other. It is unfortunate.
Right. We could put a tribe up in most cities in the US, I think.
Oh, I think so. I think you could. Well, so um, is the hotel just you and your brother? Has it become part of the family business, or is it the family business?
It's definitely a part of the family business, and we have business partners that are involved with us as well. Um, But as far as the vision and the early days of sort of putting the project together, it was very much my uncle, who was the architect of the hotel, and my elder brother and I, and my mum, who collected all the art for the property, and my father, who was also very involved
What are the
and
pros
still
and
is.
cons of working with family and having family deeply involved?
I think it's all been really a massive blessing for us because there's an inherent trust that goes along with working with family. And I know that not every family might be in that situation, but certainly for ours, it is. Um, and just having a common vision, a common goal, and being very aligned in that, um, especially when it comes to values and interests and sort of having a spirit of generosity, which was very important to us from the beginning.
I think you bring up a really good point, though, that it is about trust. And the fact of the matter is that clearly all of you trust each other. You're welcome and willing to talk about things, but you do trust each other. And that builds up a respect that I think all too often so many people miss because it's all about really creating a trusting team by any standard.
Of course, yeah. And my elder brother and my younger brother both have been sounding boards throughout my entire life, but especially when it comes to business. Um, and my parents as well, of course. They've I think they've raised three good kids.
Yeah. So you you have a really good group, a good working group, and that counts for so much. Um, I assume there are times that maybe there is disagreement, but it's respectful disagreement.
There is, of course, but I think we've all realized that there are strengths that we bring to the table, and we all have particular interests, strengths, talents, and as long as we're playing in our own sandpit and not trying to get involved in other people's work, then it kind of works. It all goes pretty smoothly.
Yeah. Well, that's really the issue, isn't it? It is about trust, and it is about developing that relationship and valuing it.
Of course.
And that's the only way it can work. That's what good teams are all about, which really is cool.
I mean, it was a learning process because in the early days, we were all trying to do a bit of everything. Um, and now I think several years on, with my younger brother joining the family business as well, we've created a nice balance where everyone has their own space and we all understand what each other is good at. And we can allow them to focus on that. And we all have sort of proven ourselves in our own business.
Right.
Um, so we respect each other's work.
What's your overall vision, would you say, for hospitality in Africa? And clearly, tribe plays into that. But what do you envision as hospitality going forward in the industry?
Well, I think for too long, Africa and Kenya in particular had a bit of a sort of colonial hangover. And, it was sort of exaggerated because of films like Out of Africa, which
Mm.
is an incredible movie, but it also left a lasting impression of what hospitality in Kenya is. As far as it being subservient, sort of romanticized subservience.
Mm.
Um, and so our vision has always been to bring back the dignity to Kenya and to Africa, and to allow the real personality of the city and the real personality of the country shine through.
And um, so how is that going? What's happening?
Well, I think to some degree we've achieved it through our involvement with the arts, because it's, what we've tried to create, and I hope we have, is something that really reflects the culture accurately. We're not sort of a white glove service kind of place. We encourage our our entire team to interact with guests and to be um, confident enough to be able to engage with guests on a more familiar level. And um, we've always talked about the idea of hosting people rather than serving them. And that was an important point for us always, is that, the guests that we welcome to our hotel are like friends, like family, people that you want to genuinely look after and show your personality to, rather than creating sort of a stencil or a template of a person who doesn't have a personality. So, we always encourage different hair colors and hairstyles and tattoos and piercings and things that really allow people to showcase who they are,
Well,
which is
and
different for hospitality.
yeah, and you're giving people freedom, but you're also encouraging them to, as you said, treat people as true people to be hosted and not just be subservient or serving them. You want people to be valued when they're in your hotel.
Exactly. And bringing equality back to, and the dignity that comes with equality back to the hotel and to the hospitality industry. So reinforcing that everybody is equal, and that no matter um, no matter what their background is or their preferences are, that they should be treated as guests at our hotel and valued people.
Mm-hmm. How does what you do and your vision of hospitality differ from competitors and people that you deal with?
So we were the first hotel in about 30 years to open when we opened our doors. And I feel like the newer products and the newer properties that have opened up have sort of embraced the culture that we brought to Tribe. Whereas some of the older properties are still very stuck in the old way of doing things. And you can see that in, the uniforms they dress in, or the cultures that they have. Um, and we see it constantly with the team that we have. Even if they move on, they always talk about Tribe in a very positive way, and their years there is sort of something that was formative.
But you're clearly different than most of the typical hotel chains because of the way, at
We
least as you're
are,
describing it, you're clearly very different.
we are, and it's definitely a very special culture that we have. It's very much like a family. Um, you know, People call me by my first name or my nickname. They call me Sham. Uh, so yeah, it's definitely a culture that's a lot more approachable for people, and more inviting as well. It is very different to other hotels, certainly.
Yeah, and in a sense, if you have the traditional view of a hotel, what you have is not a hotel. It's just a completely different kind of a wonderful place to stay.
Right. No, and that's what we had always imagined for the hotel, would be that, going back to sort of almost Bedouin culture, where, if you're in a desert and you've been walking around the desert lost for weeks, and you come across a Bedouin tribe, that they take you in, they feed you, they make sure that you're well looked after before they send you on your way again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that we really want to bring to Tribe, that, no matter what condition someone steps in, you're making them better. You're improving their life just by interacting with them and just by hosting them at the property.
You've talked a fair amount about art. Why is art important in the whole concept of hospitality and at the hotel?
Well, art has the ability to cut through issues, through cultures, and also it's an equalizing factor as well. And it's also something uh, that can be appreciated in so many different ways. Uh, whether it's music or fashion or visual art or film, it has a lot of sort of different aspects to it, and those can lend themselves to different ways of communicating our values about the property and our culture. And it's also a way to really represent the city and the country that we're in and give the hotel a sense of place. It's easy to, and I think that culture is gone now, where people are looking for the exact same room in every hotel in every city in the world. Um, People want to feel the identity of the neighborhood they're in, of the city they're in, and one way to really communicate that is through art. And we're lucky that Kenya has such a strong creative culture that we can really leverage that and also serve as a platform for the arts through our property.
So people generally tend to appreciate the art, whatever it is. Do you have obviously you must have paintings and so on. Do you have sculptures and other things like that as well?
We do. We have over 900 pieces of art and all
Wow.
original pieces.
Mm.
Um, and so a lot of sculptures, a lot of artifacts from around Africa, a lot of paintings, and yeah, some pieces that were custom made for the property, where we sort of gave this a space to the artists and allowed them to carve into it or do what they wanted with it.
Do you have art in the individual guest rooms?
We do, yeah. I think the minimum number of pieces of art in every guest room is 7.
Wow.
So we have at least 7 pieces in every room.
And I gather that people appreciate that.
They do, yeah. Sometimes a little too much. Sometimes they try to walk away with them.
Oh. Yeah, that's not good.
No, but it happens.
Has anybody ever succeeded in walking away with a piece?
I mean, smaller stuff certainly,
Yeah,
but no, a lot of our sculptures are big bronze pieces that would be really hard to carry away.
I would think. But still, it's too bad that anybody would do that. That's sad, because clearly what that says is that the people that do that don't get it.
Yeah, and I mean, you have that in hotels around the world, right? When it's not just art; it's things like remote controls that go missing. It's sometimes bed linens go missing. It's you name it.
Yeah, I guess that is the case the whole world over.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why would somebody take her? Well, I guess if they have a TV that is similar, I guess they might want a remote control, but that just seems strange.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Also, batteries from the remote controls, those go
Ah,
missing quite often.
yeah. Yeah, well, what do you do?
What do you do? It's part of
It's
the
the,
business.
it is to say, it's the nature of the business. Well, when you're building a team, how do you build a team? What are the non-negotiables? What are the priorities in building a team, and what you need to do to build an internal culture and a great hospitality environment? Because clearly you've done it, and
But when we, yeah,
it's
but when
an,
we first started, we were looking for people that showed confidence and had a great smile. And we actually didn't want anyone from the hospitality industry in Kenya
ah,
because we wanted to create a whole new culture. And so we took a lot of people straight out of school, especially for sort of the service level or guest facing roles. Um, and we actually put every one of our staff members through 5 months of etiquette training.
Mm.
And it was a sort of executive level coaching that CEOs went through. And it was a company that had just started up in Kenya. They started an office here from their business in England. And when we approached them about it, we had a conversation. We said, well, how about we offer this to the entire, starting team of Tribe? And they took it on as a challenge. So everyone from the gardener to the general manager went through this executive level coaching, and it was training on things like how to make conversation, how to approach a group, and building confidence and doing role playing and all those kind of things. And it's really shown itself, even when you look at people in their current roles now, no matter if they're with our property or with other properties, they really stand out. They stand apart from their colleagues because of the confidence that was instilled in them through that program.
Mm-hmm. Do you
And we
find
saw it
that?
as an investment. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You saw it as an investment.
No, yeah, we saw it as an investment, and as much as we invested in the physical building and the property and the art, um, we thought it's important to invest in people's careers and people's livelihoods, and their ability to deliver our vision as well.
So, do people, once they go through that and really gain all that knowledge and confidence, do they stay around?
Some do, some don't. I think we have better retention than most hotels and properties, but it's the nature of the business that you have people
Yeah.
that will move on, and we're not really afraid of that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people move on and come back to us. A lot of people get back in touch after years and say that it was the best place they've ever worked, and they want to come back. And as long as they've left in a good way, we're open to that conversation.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it is that you're successful with what you're doing. Do other hotels try to emulate what you do, or has anybody really decided they're going to try to make the same thing happen with their environment?
I think most of the hotels have tried to emulate us or take our staff, or we've become sort of a feeding ground for cruise ships lately over the last 2 years, where they've been looking at our teams to try and pick up talent from them, and a lot have gone. But again, they come back after a couple of years, so it's nothing that's worried us too much. And we're very lucky in the way that our position in the market and our reputation allows us to really pick from the best in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a great training program that they go through when they join us,
Am,
that really builds them up. Sorry.
yeah. Am I correct in thinking that the real thing that you created is the culture, and people can try to emulate maybe some of the processes and so on, but that's not the same as really creating the entire culture that you create.
I think that's definitely accurate. Yeah, it's it's very much the culture, the people that we've brought together, um, and really the respect that we have for our team members and the respect that they have for each other. I think that's what creates such a unique environment for working. And you can see it. People that don't have that same intention when they join us, they don't last very long because they don't really fit in. People that are out for themselves or for whatever bad intentions they have, they just don't really fit in with the culture.
Yeah. Do you have very many people who apply for a job or want to come in and who don't fit in, or you decide or you discovered you're just not going to fit into the culture?
We do. Yeah, I mean we've been pretty good at curating the team and really looking for personality over skills, and that's made a huge difference
Yeah.
because skills can be taught, but personality is something that really that's a special thing to find in someone.
Yeah. Skill is one thing, but again, culture and attitude is a totally different thing. And you've had 17 years to figure out what you need and how that works.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I only can say that I'll have to get over there and bring my guide dog Alamo, and he'll mess up everything because everybody will suddenly want to talk to the dog and they won't pay attention to a single guest.
You're very welcome.
And he would love it.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah, he has the right personality. No, it's great. Well, what kind of a legacy do you hope to leave for the next generation? Um, what kind of a lasting mark do you want people to remember and follow through on?
I'd love for what we've built to be a reminder of the dignity that the people in Kenya have, and the Africans all over the continent as well, and for it to really inspire people across other industries to really look at how we can change um, sort of this institutionalized idea about servitude and service, um, and really reframe it and reflect what the beauty of the culture actually is.
So it's also a teaching opportunity.
I think that would be arrogant for me to think that I can teach anyone anything, but
No, I
yeah,
mean just
definitely
the whole
hope that it
environment.
inspires.
Yeah, the whole environment is with everything that you're doing. It's kind of a teaching opportunity to show people what can be, and it's just what you do, not why you do it or how you do it or anything like that. And you're right; it would be arrogant to look at it any other way. But by just the virtue of what you do, um, there are lessons to learn.
I hope so,
Yeah,
and I hope it does inspire people.
yeah, and that's what it's really about. From a guest standpoint, if I'm a guest, what will I experience that I will actually go through when I come to the hotel?
So we've recently started up a program called our Chieftains Program, and we've taken a group of really exceptional team members from our staff and people that have a really interesting take on the city because of their previous work experience, or some of them are models, some of them are DJs or nightlife people or actors, and it's people with really interesting perspectives that host our guests and showcase the city in a way that we want to portray it. So not in a sort of touristy fishbowl kind of way, but in a way that they're really more engaged with what's going on. And the way we've done this is that we've created a program where our chieftains can actually accompany guests and take them out to restaurants or to bars, see the nightlife or see sites around the city. And instead of just pointing them in the direction of an art gallery, which a normal concierge might do, um, our chieftains really have the access and the ability to introduce our guests to artists and to talent across the country. Um, and, whether it's a photographer or a golf player or a visual artist or a singer, being able to really engage with people who are real ambassadors for the city and for the country. And so one example of that is our running program, where we work with a former world record holding marathon runner, And of course, marathon running is something that Kenya is very known for.
Yes.
Mm. And so his name's Patrick Kamau, and he held the world record for 2 years for marathon. And he will run with our guests and teach them about running styles and nutrition and stretching. Um, but it's really giving our guests access to someone who's the best in the world at what they do,
Hmm.
and showing off Nairobi through their eyes.
So you really work very hard to bring the culture to people, which is wonderful. And um, so staying at the hotel is really an experience.
It is, and we want it to be something that people remember, and people feel like they miss it or they long for it when they're away from it. Um, we also recently launched a night safari, night game drive in the Nairobi National Park, and this is the first time that the national park has really allowed anyone um, to go into at nighttime. And I
Mm,
just did this last week with my girlfriend and a friend of ours, where we went to the national park at night through the hotel program, and it's really an incredible experience because you're the only car in the national park, and it's several times larger than uh, sort of New York Central Park.
right.
Um, and it's an incredible landscape where you have the city skyline in the background. Um, and it's just, it's like in everything we do, we're trying to present it from a new perspective. So yes, people can access the national park during the day, but how can we give them a different experience? How
Yeah.
can we give them something that's exclusive or different, or shines a light on the city in a different way?
Do many of the animals come out at night?
Yeah, I mean, we saw 3 lions, 6 rhino, and a bunch of zebra, giraffes, hippos, crocodiles.
Wow.
They're actually much more active at night.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because it's cooler and
Exactly.
a lot of them are very nocturnal, which makes sense.
That's right. Yeah, and that's when the big cats will go out to hunt, um, which we didn't see unfortunately, but they looked like they were getting ready to go catch a meal.
Well, it may have been unfortunate or fortunate. It's hard to say. But still, that's really pretty cool that you were able to offer that experience because that clearly is something that most people wouldn't experience any other way.
No, exactly. And for the moment, up until the end of the year, we're the only ones in the country who can offer this experience
Mm.
as a sort of pilot program.
And so far, it sounds like it's been pretty successful.
Yeah, it's been successful. Every group that's gone out has seen lions so far. Um, so that's definitely successful.
Well, I will just ask: are there any other last minute things maybe that I haven't covered that you want to talk about regarding tribe or any of what we've discussed today?
It's been a really enjoyable conversation. Thank you, Michael.
Well, I've
I've
enjoyed
enjoyed
it.
our chat.
I have
Thank you.
definitely enjoyed it, and we'll have to figure out a way to get over there. And like I said, bring Alamo so he can disrupt life for everybody and be just a puppy dog who will flip over and insist on everybody in the hotel paying attention to him only.
Anytime, we're ready for you.
He would
And
love it.
Alamo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about Alamo, right? No, he's a great dog. Well, I want to thank you for this, and I want to thank all of you for listening. I hope that you've found this not only fascinating, but learned some good lessons about teamwork and trust and the value of it. I think that's really the most important thing to take from this. And I hope all of you found this helpful. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to email me, michaelhi@accessibe.com. Accessibe is ACCESSIBE.com. Shamim, if people want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
I'm on Instagram, Shamrock's Insta, and I'm on LinkedIn, Shamim Ehsani.
I want to thank you all for being here. love it if you'd give us a 5-star rating wherever you are calling from or listening and watching from. And if you have any ideas of anyone who ought to be a guest on Unstoppable Mindset, I'd love it if you would please refer us, introduce us to anyone that you think ought to be a guest. We are always looking for it, and I know Shamim knows that as well, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to maybe have some other conversations about it. So in the meanwhile, spelling your last name, E-H.
Sani.
Yeah. So Shamim Ehsani. So
That's correct.
so they can find you on LinkedIn and Instagram and so on. So cool. Well, I want to thank you again for being here, and we'll have to visit more at some point. But I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it, and such an honor to be on your show.